is to implement local solution for. At the same time, it's not possible. Not if there is no permanent solution, they are having money, they are having.
Security Observer back, boosting expert voices from the Global South. Today we have a very special guest, Alkassoum Abdourahamane from Niger. He has extensive experience in the humanitarian NGO field throughout all of Africa. Now he works as a private consultant advising NGOs and stakeholders in the private sector throughout the region. Alkassoum, thanks for coming. How are you?
Okay, I'm fine, and thanks really for inviting me here.
Yeah, my pleasure, my pleasure. So let's start off with this interview. We have a lot to cover. Can you start by telling us about your role and the kind of humanitarian work you have done in Africa throughout the years?
Yeah, for more than 20 years, I work as humanitarian here in Africa in the Sahel region. Starting from here in Niger, my country, going to Mali, let's say whole Sahel, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Mauritania, after Chad. And later I went to Afghanistan and even East Africa, like DRC, Sudan, South Sudan, these kind of things. And in all these places, we not only brought experiences or expertise, but we other all the people we met their colleagues and the beneficiaries. We learn from everybody we met there.
Wow, yeah. In Afghanistan, you're within the humanitarian sector as well?
Yes, yes. I was
Yeah.
with humanitarian NGOs.
Yeah. And so from your perspective, what are the biggest difficulties that NGOs in Niger or in the region face today? Because we know sometimes the solutions they bring, they're solutions from the outside of the region, of the continent. They don't always correspond to, customs or traditions or the ways of life on the ground. So what's the biggest difficulties NGOs right now face in Africa or in
So
Niger?
let's say that now things change. Since 5 years in some places like Mali, Burkina Faso, and 3 years in place like mine, like Niger, because now you have new standards. Now you have new norms because the main aim or the goal of the population and military rulers in places in the Sahel particularly is they need local solution for local problem. Even for imported problem or crisis, they need local solution. And that this really is changing the mindset from how all the NGOs, particularly, or most of the NGOs are from global north and from Western countries. All the solutions are coming from the north. And now what they need, the rulers and the population, what they need is to implement local solution for local crisis or for imported crisis. And this also created a problem in terms of confidence between NGOs and population. And another thing also to know is particularly in this period of time, what we observe is only remaining NGO, only serious NGOs are remaining in place now, because most of NGOs, tens of NGOs left because they arrived here supporting their militaries in the area. When, for example, French militaries are in Niger or in Mali, in Burkina Faso, you have many NGOs from France. It seems like they are financed by the public budgets of France or they are supported by the military. It's the same with US military when they are here and the Canadian and the others. So that's why only remaining NGOs today in this area of Sahel are the serious one, that they are not linked to the public budgets. They are not linked to the military in their countries. They are really the real NGO, the real humanitarian one. This really confirms all what the rulers and even the beneficiaries, the population are saying by accusing some NGOs that they have link with politics, they have link with militaries in their countries. It seems like they are really covering spine
Yeah.
system in this area of the world.
And so that's an interesting take, actually. So now the ones that have stayed, the ones that tend to stay are the biggest ones, the biggest NGOs. Is that correct to say? The most stable ones, the best financed ones, or
Yeah, let's say they are the biggest one, and also it seems like they are the serious one because they are
serious
not
ones?
real. Yeah, they are not because if you take an example of, for example, Dr. Suzaj Brothers, their budget is based on the private individuals like me and you financing, giving 1 cent, giving $1, €1, and this kind of things. They are not waiting to be financed by the government, like USAID or other defeat or these kind of things.
Okay.
They count on individuals to finance the activities that they are doing in the name of beneficiaries. And yeah, so they are not politically linked to Western countries, even if the origin of these NGOs are Western NGOs, but the philosophy, the the intention is purely human, and is purely the needs of the beneficiary. That's what guides their action.
Uh-huh. And so now, speaking about the NGO activities in Niger, in the region, in the continent, when, for example, Western-based NGOs come, what do they often misunderstand about the local context? Do they have difficulties understanding the people, ways of life? What are the main issues? So what do they often misunderstand?
Yeah, I think they are making enough efforts really to adapt themselves, to adapt the solution, to adapt the behaviors on locally, but it's not enough, and it's not giving really the results that's needed, because most of the time they need to take time to understand locally how things are, and maybe also they don't know the origin of some crisis, the origin of some problem, and to face them, like when you arrive in Mali with the solution that you use in DRC Congo, because it's Africa and they are all black, but not the same. Here you are in the Sahel, and the culture is not the same. You have not only one Africa because people are black. You think that the same solution you use in this part of Africa, you can adapt it in this. No, it's not the same. Each part of Africa, each region is special, and you need to understand it. You need to, to have solution adapted to it. And I think this is one of the problem facing by these NGOs from big north or big from the west, and that's why also you can find the NGO or the actors working for 20 years or more for one problem without resolving it because it's not adapting what they are trying to do.
Yeah, that's interesting because I remember when I used to work in the NGO sector as well. I used to interview a lot of villagers, and it took me a bit to adapt to the type of questions I can ask them. I assume it's something similar in Africa. I mean, you have to adapt to local ways. You can't just ask the same type of question that you want to know directly to the people. You have to kind of change it, or you have to take some time, speak with them before, get to know them, tell them where you're from. It's kind of different. Not everyone is the same. You can't just go up and ask a list of questions to the people and have them and expect a response from them. Yeah, you have to give it a special touch. In some cases you can, in some cases you have to change the questions, or just, come at a certain time of day. Or, if it's a woman, maybe you should come with a man as well, etc., etc. Maybe
Yeah,
depending on they'll get different
yeah.
responses. So,
But at the same time, so also it's creating jobs. At the same time, people need to create job in Africa. They need to create job in Europe, in America, because when you created when you have to implement a program and you bring expatriates from Western countries, you have to pay them maybe 10 times what you pay local hired staff. And so it reduced, unemployment in Europe. It reduced unemployment in America, and also it's convinced those who are financing the public sector that is financing this NGO. You convince them that I recruit from your citizens. So, but at sometimes in Africa, the place you are working, they need also to create the employment. And why not to pay them the same amount of salary that we are paying expatriates from Western countries? And this is a big and huge debate, even inside big NGOs, even inside the serious NGOs. That's what I call serious one.
Yeah, even half that salary is, I'm sure, a big difference compared to local salaries on the
Yeah, half
NGO.
or third of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, normally, like from your experience in Mali, in Afghanistan, or in DRC, how do communities usually respond when projects, when they feel that something is opposed upon them, imposed, sorry, when something is imposed on them, how do people normally feel? Do you have any examples of a solution that didn't work in the DRC or elsewhere?
No, I think there is one thing to know because the common reaction is if the program or the project you are implementing is giving or bringing money, so everybody behave like they are happy, behave like it's bringing solution. Because even if there is no permanent solution, they are having money, they are having, something just for few moments of time. Because they know that most of the time when they will say no, you will go somewhere with your solution, with your money, and this kind of things. According to the response you are bringing during emergency like Ebola current now in DRC, or like crisis, flood crisis in some places, or according to you are implementing a program, development program for many months or many years, really the solution, the behaviors, and the reaction from the population are not the same. It's easy, for example, going to the northwest of Niger, in the Filingue region, bordering Mali. It's easier for me to go and see, the tree that we implemented, the water catchment that we did 2006, and it continues to exist, and the people and the animals are using it. At the same time, it's not possible, not at all, to go in the place, I don't know, like in the region of Maradi, Tesawa, to see the traces of what you call it, the food for, plum peanuts that we gave to the children suffering to the malnutrition. Because you have some
Yeah.
projects for 20 years, children are suffering with this malnutrition, and we are giving, just solution just locally and the circumstantial solution. And for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, the same program with the same solution is continuing, and without really resolving the issue.
I understand it now. So as opposed to actually tackling the problem, the root of the problem, they're just supplying one after another the solution like that. The special feed. Is that what I understand? Instead of actually tackling the
Yeah,
problem, helping local farmers, maybe build up communications or foodstuffs, farming. They just hand out uh, they just hand
yeah,
out food.
it will impact more if you support the farmers. They can really, improve their production. If you can support farmers in terms of education, in terms of equipment, and this and that, yeah, it will impact more globally in the country, not only locally, but even globally. But most of time, some NGOs prefer to focus on very special and circumstantial solution without any impact in the time.
Yeah, you know what?
But
There's actually
it creates money, and we import a lot of things from Western countries. Yeah, this kind of things.
Yeah, that's actually interesting because there's actually a military strategist, Edward Luttwak. He was talking about this as well. And he says that NGOs, not all of them, but many of them actually make the problem worse. They don't resolve the issue because they just create dependency from local population, dependency of the local population from their NGOs, as opposed to actually letting the locals solve their own problems, tailor-made solutions. Locals just become dependent on these NGOs, and these NGOs just continue, not necessarily making money, but they just continue their work without actually resolving the whole issue. It creates like a dependency issue as opposed to actually resolving issues on the ground there.
Yeah, it can create even money because it will create jobs to some places, and also it creates money because they will order a lot of stuff from companies based in Europe or based in US company.
Mhm.
For example, plant
Yeah,
peanut or even just spare parts for the vehicles, even and
yeah.
they create job and a lot of things. So it's creating money. It's many, many billions of euro or of dollar that's managed by the NGOs. And yeah, it's a lot link, you know.
Yeah, it makes total sense. I understand. I saw that with my eyes as well. So now, what would stronger cooperation between Western NGOs and local actors look like in practice? If you could change something, because you're a private advisor for NGOs, what's a good solution to this? How can Western NGOs and locals cooperate to actually resolve issues in a more practical manner?
Yeah, today I think in some places and particularly in Sahel is mandatory because you have what we call it access problem. To have access to the beneficiaries in some places is not possible. Yeah, it's mandatory for international NGO to go through the local NGOs, implemented the NGOs in the village or in the place, really to have access to these beneficiaries, to this population under this kind of things. For those who are not doing it, for them, it's not possible really to work directly or even indirectly because the only way, because they are not getting visa, they are not getting authorization to come to the country, they are not getting authorization, and also more and more you have like what I said, new standards, new norms in terms of protocol of collaborating with the government. And one of the things that governments today in the Sahel region, for example, are implemented is to oblige NGOs to work with national NGOs and also to give specific and high rank places in the hierarchy of the NGO to give them to the local staffs. So to that, because there, like what I said, there is the issue or the problem of confidence. Because today, countries or military rulers and the population are accusing NGO to be part of the problem, to be linked to the terrorists, to the groups, and also they think the NGO
Yeah, I think we lost you. I think we
are
lost.
informing. All this solution of with collaborating with collaborating all these things, collaborating with local NGOs and giving high rank position to the local staff, it will resolve this problem of confidence because, like what I said, governments and the population are accusing NGO to be part of the problem, to be linked to the armed groups, to be linked with enemy. So these things can resolve this issue of confidence between two sides.
Yeah, that creates serious problems. So as for the last question here, looking ahead, what should Western-based NGOs do differently to make their work more useful in Africa, in all of Africa in general?
Yeah, I think what they are doing today, for example, in Sahel, is just to adapt to to adapt what they are doing to the new requirements, to the new standards, to the new norms. from this military regime and from what the population is expecting and waiting for. This is it, because also it's the only one existing solution today to adapt their strategy to the new and the local requirements.
Yeah. So that was actually a very interesting take on all of this. We have Alkassoum Abdourahamane, a private consultant advisor to NGOs and stakeholders in Niger and the region with extensive experience throughout Africa, DRC, Mali, Niger, also Afghanistan, and other places as well. We're just interviewing him. Alkassoum, thanks for sharing. It was a pleasure talking with you.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure for me also to be here, to be invited by you, and thanks.
Yeah, I look forward to more episodes with you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ali.